Hello everybody, how are you? It's Mike Andrew, once again providing a short video with practical insights as it applies to business and leadership. I'm going to talk about coaching and the coaching profession, leadership coaching. I'm sure many of you or most of you have either been coached or have coaches inside your company, or you're at least familiar with the concept of coaching as a developmental tool. And I want to be careful here because this is going to be controversial, especially to those in the coaching profession. You're going to be very careful when picking a coach, when selecting a coach. Very, very discerning. There are some good coaches out there, so I want to give the profession some credit. But there are a lot of people and a lot of coaches out there I personally wouldn't want to be coached by. So what do I look for in a leadership coach? Or if I'm hiring a leadership coach, I want someone that has corporate management experience or corporate executive experience, because then they can relate. They can relate to an executive. They've been there. They've done that. They may have dealt with a similar situation, though, so they have a story to tell, an example to give, and what did they do? You see, a lot of executives, they're not familiar with what's called ICF, International Coaching Federation, nor should they be. So therefore, they don't really know what expectations are for coaching. But what I've learned is they want a thought partner, someone that they can relate to, someone that can listen, someone that can understand, someone that can push back, and someone that's been there, done that, and can give a balanced giving advice. That's a big no-no oftentimes with coaches. Giving advice, and I believe coaches need to give advice. They have to find the right time to give advice, and not always depend on asking questions, what they call the discovery method. You know, when the Coaching Federation offers this thing called the GROW model, G-R-O-W. Forget about it. You know, it's what are the goals, what are the realities, what are the options, and what's next. That's for people that haven't been there, done that, in my opinion. So always look for someone that has corporate management experience. Even if you're in the medical profession, legal profession, find someone that has similar experience in that profession so they can relate as well. And here's another number one rule of coaching. Number one rule, it's about the person being coached or the coachee, not about the coach. A lot of coaches out there, they develop an ego. It's about them, not the coachee. It's about the coachee. And therefore, the coach should be adaptable, flexible to coach any way that the coachee needs to be coached. Let me give you an example. I was in a meeting once with a senior executive, and he found out that I was managing a team of coaches. And he says, "Can I talk to you after the meeting?" I said, "Certainly." So the meeting was over. I'm waiting. I'm sitting down in his office, and he walks over to his desk, and right there at the end of his desk is a big, thick book. He never even opened it. And he walks over to me, and he shows me the book. He says, "My coach, so-and-so," I knew who the person was, "he wants me to read this book." And I said to him, I said, "Do you want to read that book?" He says, "No, I don't want to read this book. I don't have the time to read the book." I grabbed the book. I said, "Give me that book. You're not going to read that book. If you don't want to read the book, don't read it. It's about you, what you need, what you want, as far as an executive being coached." There's another example. You know, one of the things they teach in coaching is to be a good listener and show empathy. But you don't need to be a coach to do that. Every manager leader should be, every manager leader, every husband and wife, every friend should be a good listener and demonstrate empathy. We brought this one guy in. I'm not going to name him, but he's very well known. He markets himself constantly. I get 2 or 3 things on LinkedIn about him, about his book, about he's the number one coach, the number one thought leader, and enough. And we brought him in, somebody from my team brought him in, gave him some specifications what to do, and he didn't follow those specs, particularly when it came to the top team. And I was very upset about it. We paid him a lot of money. He wanted to do it his way, do his thing, because that's what he's comfortable with. It's almost like that saying, you know, if your only tool is a hammer, most of your problems look like a nail. And it really bothered me that he didn't live up to his reputation, in my opinion. And afterwards, when you talk about listening and empathy, we sat down, and after I gave him feedback, he was asking me about my family. And I don't talk about my family, but I have a son who's a beautiful little boy that's special needs. And I was pouring my heart out to this guy about this beautiful boy and his special needs. And I look over at him. This is supposedly one of the top coaches in the world, and he's yawning, and not a follow-on comment like, Mike, I'm sorry to hear that. Tell me more. Is there any hope? Nothing like that. He was out for himself. He wasn't out for his clients. So, again, I've always stuck by the principle, if you want to find a good coach, they're already in your company. A good manager or leader, whatever you want to call it, should be already a good coach. Why? Because they're monitoring performance, they're developing their people, they're focusing on the career growth of their people, they're building a team, they're breaking down barriers, removing roadblocks. They're a role model. They're a coach. They're a leader coach or manager coach. They're there. They don't have to be certified. So I always rely on internal people to be good coaches and encourage managers to be a coaching leader, a leader as coach. Finally, I'll end it with this. There is one organization that I am familiar with out in Malaysia. And if you're interested, just send me a message. What I like about this organization is that they train executives or former executives to be certified as a coach. Imagine that. So they have current CEOs or VPs or former VPs and CEOs that want to now start doing leadership coaching. Fantastic. That's what I'm looking for. And they offer certification programs to get executives or former executives to be coached, to become a certified and capable coach with credibility. If you're interested, let me know. I'll give you the name of the organization. But that's what I'm looking for in the coaching profession. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.